I'm going to be going over the warm-up we did on October 14th, Thursday. So quickly, let's get to the right plane. So if you weren't able to make the meeting, or if you just want to go over how to make these designs, this video is for those purposes. Okay, so first of all, the warm-up has that center point, center circle, and it also has a corner rectangle. You could use a corner rectangle. I'm just going to use the center point because it'd be easier because it's perfectly in the center of that circle. And now let's dimension that. I know this is going to be 1.75. And if you go to the Google Slides, we have Reddit. If you just check our Discord channel, um, or it should just be sent in announcements or in build, it'll have all the dimensions you'll need. So you can actually follow along with this, or you can just follow along with the dimensions on the slides that we've sent out. And then we have here, put these on 5. Remember, if it says r.6875, that means the radius, and generally when you dimension, it's going to be the diameter. So you're going to want to times it by 2. And Onshape has this like really neat feature that lets you basically do multiplication and division. See if I do that? Yeah, basically you can do those kinds of operations inside Onshape rather than having like a calculator out on the side. So next, let's make these big circles. And then I want these smaller circles to be on the sides. These are going to be the actual holes that the design has. And then I'm going to make a larger circle because if you can tell by the design, it kind of goes around. It goes around the circle. It doesn't actually like there's not a hole. It doesn't like break out into a hole like that. So it's important that you have another circle around it that guides your outline. So we're going to dimension those. And actually, what we can do is you could have mirrored the mirror tool. You have a mirror plane, and then you could pick one side, and then it'll show up on the other. But in this case, it's also fine, because we can just can dimension one side, and then you can set the other side equal to that. And notice how this, make sure it's on the same horizontal plane. Okay, good. And then notice how it's still blue. It's okay, it's because we haven't constrained the distance between all of this yet. So we'll get to that soon. And then now, this is r.6875. So actually, that's the same size as this hole. So what we can do is we can press E equal, and then click this circle, and the same size. And I know these two circles are the same, because they can basically be mirrored over, and I can do this as well. And then what you can do is dimension this, how far away these are. And it's going to be 8.625. And you'll notice once it's no longer like centered, so then you can just change the distance from here to half of that. So 4.3125. Perfect. See how it's centered now? And these are all constrained. And actually, these aren't going to be holes. Like this outer circle isn't actually going to be a hole. It's just a guiding circle. So we're going to make that construction. And generally, we want to make constructions because a lot of it we're not actually going to be extruding out. It's just like a good idea to have. Okay? And now we should dimension this outer circle. It's R1.375, so 1.375 times 2. Then we have that constraint as well. And now let's make this outer outline that connects everything together. And so first, let's get the line tools. Basically, just make sure they're just touching, basically. And boom, boom. And also, a quick reminder, we should probably make that construction as well. Okay? And what we can do is T tangent this line, tangent that, tangent this, tangent that. Okay, cool. And then we're going to be extruding basically this part separate from this part. So I'll first mirror that. So mirror line. Look, nice. Okay, but essentially, I'll unconstruction this just for the sake of like looking at it. We're gonna be so basically. Oh, this part isn't constrained. This part isn't even closed yet. But essentially, this part is going to be extruded separately from this part. And so we need to make sure that this part is in construction, but what we can do is just make an arc and make it bulge out a little like that, because then we have another tool that we can use that'll help us. And let's turn this back into construction. And then center 3-point circle, 2-point arc, my bad. And then boom. Make sure those aren't construction actually. Okay. And what we want to do is coincident. Okay. That was there we go. And then now I'm gonna select this line. Coincident to here. Boom. Wraps around. Coincident to here. Coincident to here. And coincident to oh boy. Okay. Instead what we can do with that side is we can just click mirror line, and then zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. There we go. And now it's all constrained. And remember that this part is going to be extruded separately from this part. So what we can do is get another 3-point arc. It's right here. Boom. And then coincident I, then press that. And then basically you have basically your entire sketch now. So let's extrude this. Get out of the sketch. Extrude. And this part. And this part is going to be higher. And if you look at the page we have in our slides, this part's going to be 1.5. Let's extrude it out like that. Make sure your sketch doesn't disappear. Extrude. And that's how it's already prepared to extrude that. And then one. Then, oh, it's still extruding the wrong way. There we go. And boom. Oh, and what I just did just now, extrude. So this is basically the plane extruding off of. And if I offset it, it'll go the other way. So there you go. Now you have the warm-up design.